Alright, today we're going to practice converting some fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions. We're going to start with number 1, some pretty easy ones. If your fraction has a 10 or a 100 or a 1,000 in the denominator, all you have to do is read it to convert it to a fraction. Alright, let's take a look at our first one here, 3/10. Alright, 3/10. Well, you just read it and then you can write that. 3/10 is equal to 3/10. That's all you have to do. Remember, the first place to the right of the decimal is the 10th place, and this is 3/10. Okay, 47/100. All right, we know it's 0.47 because this is the 10th place and this is the 100th place, and this is 47/100. Okay. And then this one, 125 1,000th. That seems like a scary fraction, but actually it's not. 0.125, because this is the 10th place, 100th place, and the 1,000th place. So this is 125 thousandths, and so is this. This is 47 hundredths, and so is this. And this is 3/10, and so is that. Alright, now let's take a look at some fractions that aren't quite as easy to convert. Alright, if you can convert a fraction to an equivalent fraction that has a 10th, a 100, or a 1,000 in the denominator, then they're very easy to convert to decimals. Okay, like let's take a look at 2/5 here. Alright, so 2/5, can we convert that to something that has an easy denominator? Well, actually, yeah. Can we convert that to a 10th? Sure. Okay. You can multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 2. Alright, and that will get us 4/10, because 2 times 2 is 4, 5 times 2 is 10. Alright, 4/10. Now, that's extremely easy to convert to a decimal, because that is 4/10. So if you can convert something, the denominator, to something easy to convert to a decimal, then do that. So 2/5 is equivalent to 4/10. Alright, how about 3/4? Well, you might know what that one is already when you're thinking about money, but if you don't, then let's convert it. 3/4. Can you convert a 4 to a 10? No, because 4 doesn't go into 10. How about 100? What do you multiply 4 by to get 100? Well, you can multiply that by 25. 4 times 25 is 100, because 4 quarters is $1. Okay, so you also have to multiply the numerator by the same thing, by 25. 3 times 25 is 75. So 3/4 is the same as 75 hundredths, which you can then write as a decimal. 75 hundredths. Pretty simple. Alright, let's look at number 4. 1/8. Alright. This one's a little trickier. Can you write 1/8 as an equivalent fraction that has something easy to convert in the denominator? Well, 8 won't go into 10, 8 won't go into 100, but 8 will go into 1,000. Okay, in case you don't know that off the top of your head, 8 times 125 is 1,000. Okay, so you have to multiply the numerator also by 125, and that's easy. 1 times 125 is 125. Okay, and then you can write this directly as a decimal, because it's 125 thousandths, or 0.125, 125 thousandths. Alright, number 5. For 1/3, there is no 10th, 100th, or 1,000th that we can convert this into easily. as an equivalent fraction, so we're going to have to solve this one the old-fashioned way. All right. So 1/3. Remember what the fraction bar means. It means divided by. So this is 1 divided by 3. All right. I'm going to have to do that division to turn it into a decimal. All right. And here's how I remember. I know there's all kind of ways to remember when you're doing division, which the numerator or denominator goes inside the house or outside the house. Here's how I do it, okay? I just write the 1, and then when I say divided by, I make the house. Divided by 3. So that way I always remember, okay? So 1 divided by 3. Well, 3 won't go into 1, so we have to add a decimal and add another 0. 3 will go into 10. All right, so 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, we've got a left remainder of 1. All right, we're going to have to bring down, add a 0, bring it down. And then 3 will go into 10 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Bring down another 0. Wait a minute. This is just going to keep going on forever. This is a repeating decimal. All right, so you may see this written as 333 thousandths or 0.333, but the proper way to write it would be 0.3 with the bar over top to show that the 3 is repeating. Okay, so 1/3 is always 3/10 repeating. If you can remember that, it's a lot easier. You don't have to do the division every time. Okay, let's look at another one. 1/6. Okay, a 6 is not going to be easily converted into an equivalent fraction with a 10, 100, or 1,000th in the denominator, so we need to do the division on this one also. All right, so 1/6, that is 1 divided by 6, or 1 divided by 6. All right, obviously 6 is not going to go into 1, so we need to add a decimal and put in a 0. 6 will go into 10 one time. 1 times 6 is 6. 10 minus 6 is 4. Okay, we're going to have to add a 0 and bring it down. All right, how many times will 6 go into 40? Well, it'll go in 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. And that gives us 4 remaining. And then we're going to have to add a 0. Bring it down here. Wait a minute. It's just going to keep repeating. 6 times 6 is 36. So this is another repeating decimal. Okay, so how do we write this one? All right. This one is 0.16, and you put the repeating bar over the 6 only because it's the 6 that repeats. The 1 does not repeat. All right. So this is 1600ths repeating. 1/6 is equal to 1600th repeating. All right, this is number 7, and this one is a mixed number, and we can also convert mixed numbers into decimals. All right, so this one's 2 4/5. All right, whenever you're converting a mixed number to a decimal, whatever the whole number part of the mixed number is becomes the whole number part of the decimal. So this is going to become 2 point, and then we've got to figure out what 4/5 is as a decimal. Okay, well, 4/5 is easy to convert to a fraction with a 10th in the denominator by multiplying the denominator and the numerator by 2. All right, so 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, 4 times 2 is 8. So 4/5 is equal to 8/10. So I can write 8/10 as a decimal. There we have it. 2 4/5 as a mixed number can be written as 2.8 as a decimal. All right, let's take a look at Number 8, let's convert some decimals to fractions, okay? These two are super easy. You just read them and write them as you say it, okay? 6/10, okay? 6/10 is 6/10, all right? You probably know the next one. 25, oops, don't do that. 25 hundredths, okay? You can write that as 25 hundredths, all right? But that fraction can be simplified. Both of those fractions could be simplified, okay? 6/10, take a look at that. What will go into both 6 and 10 to simplify it? Well, 2 will go into it, so let's divide the numerator and the denominator by 2, and that's going to be 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 6/10 is 3/5 as a simplified fraction. All right, and then 25 hundredths. This one's actually a little easier. What will go into both 100 and 25? 25 will. So let's divide the numerator and the denominator by 25. And that will be 1/4. But you probably knew that already, because if you think about money, 25 cents out of $1 is 1/4, and 1/4 is 1/4. All right, number 9, 625 thousandths. All right, that one seems a little scary, but don't let it scare you. Let's write it like you read it. 625 thousandths. Okay, you know you can simplify this fraction because you have a 0 in the denominator and a 5 in the numerator. And so you could divide it by 5, and then that would reduce it some, but it wouldn't get it completely simplified. But if you remember from earlier on the page, we had a problem with the thousandths in it. Okay? You know, a big number that will go into 1,000 is 125. So you can divide the denominator and the numerator by 125. So you know this one is going to be 8. And 125 will go into 625 divided by 125. Well, it goes in 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 2 is 10, and 2 is 12. 5 times 1 is 5, and 1 is 6. This is 5/8. There you go. All right. Let's look at number 10. Let's convert the decimal 4.8 into a mixed number. All right. 4.8. Okay, when you're converting a mixed number into a decimal, remember the whole number stays the same. It's going to be the same here. So this is going to be 4, and then we need to convert 8/10 into a fraction. Well, that's easy. 8/10. All right. Now, is that as simple as that fraction can get? No, you could simplify it. 2 will go into both 8 and 10. So this is going to be numerator divided by 2. Denominator divided by 2 and numerator divided by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So this is 4 and 4/5. All right. That's how we do conversions from fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions.